My brother called a family meeting and yelled that I knew about the identity of his child's real father and was keeping it secret. I handed over the DNA test results I had all along, and he screamed when he saw the truth. I run a small veterinary genetics lab that does DNA testing for animals, mostly horses, dogs, and a few exotic pets. A typical day for me involves extracting blood or hair samples, running PCR machines, and analyzing DNA markers for pedigrees or breed identification. I have a degree in genetics and a state license for veterinary diagnostics, but I absolutely do not have the setup or approval to test human samples. Last Monday after work, my brother Tyler called and demanded an emergency family meeting at my parents' house. I was in the middle of sequencing a complex case for a racehorse, so I didn't know what was wrong or why it couldn't wait. When I got there, the whole family was already gathered in the living room. My younger sister Amy and her fiance John were there too, along with my parents. Tyler's wife, Rachel, was holding a stack of papers and was visibly upset. Before I could say anything, Tyler marched up to me and pointed at the papers in his wife's hands. He demanded to know why I had his daughter's DNA results. I was stunned. I looked down at the pages and saw a bunch of genotypes and names. Across the top of the first page was the horse's name, Silver Arrow, 1987 Thoroughbred. Beneath it was the title Paternity Analysis and the name Tyler Smith. For a moment, I couldn't speak. It was a completely normal-looking lab report for an equine DNA test, but I still had no clue how it was in Rachel's hands. Rachel was crying and barely looked at me. She insisted she saw my computer with Tyler's name next to the words paternity test and thought I had discovered something about their baby. She showed it to Tyler then and there, shouting that it looked like I found out his daughter wasn't his. She started crying harder. Our parents and I gathered around the coffee table where the report was spread out. Tyler snatched the papers from Rachel's hands and waved them. Amy quickly put a hand on his arm and told him to calm down and read the page carefully. I opened my mouth. Tyler cut me off. He was shaking with anger. "Have you been secretly testing our daughter's DNA?" he demanded. I blinked. It was such a bizarre accusation that I had to double-check everything in my head. I took a deep breath. I pointed at the printed page and explained slowly that the report was clearly for a horse. Silver Arrow, I said, is a horse and stallion Smith. Tyler is listed there because Tyler owns that stallion. The report even said equine paternity analysis. I told him our lab tests animal DNA, not human DNA, and no human samples are ever run or stored here. Tyler just stared at the page. My mom gasped, my dad furrowed his brow, and Amy whispered to Tyler to read it himself. Tyler read the title out loud, Equine Paternity Analysis, Silver Arrow. Then he looked up at me. The room fell silent. Rachel was still crying softly, trying to hide her face. Tyler sank into the couch, running a hand through his hair. For a second, he looked relieved, but then he glared at me in confusion. "Then why was her name on the computer screen?" he asked quietly. That was when I realized what must have happened. Earlier today, Rachel had found some old email with a genealogy file open, or maybe our computer desktop happened to have the report window open while she was logged in. I explained as